Who knows what day it is today? That's right, it's Meteor Day! It's International Meteor Day. This is the first one ever, so like you're on the ground floor, well done. What is it? What is it? Well, you know, in practical terms, it's a giant infomercial from Meteor Development Group to us, but we've been running these meetups for about 2 years now, and they've been nothing but supportive without being pushy, so, you know, it's good. And what's happened is it's kind of suspiciously coincided nicely with the 1.0 announcement. So what that means in effect is there's a lot of us. There's way more than I realized. Like last month we had maybe 50 people. A month before, like similar. We've been getting like 50 people every night for like the last year, which is cool. But now it turns out there's loads of us all around the planet. It's kind of nuts. I'm going to click this link and see if it does anything. So there's been a flurry of, because it's really easy to build Meteor apps, there's been a flurry of meetups around the world building Meteor Day applications. So if you were to go, if everyone got on the Wi-Fi, like it's Mind Candy Public, I think, and it is whatever it is, Ginger Snap Go, exclamation mark, all lowercase, all one word. So if you wanted to go to meteorday.meteor.com, I think they could have put the word meteor in there a few more times, but it's enough, I think. It gets the point across. What we're hoping to get is, you know, cover the map in dots. So Meteor Day started with the sun over here. This is how time works. And we're about in the middle of time now, because obviously we invented time. And then these laggards in the past will wake up later. I could have been a weather forecaster. So like jump on, like they've built out stuff and actually got around to putting it in the App Store. Like classic open source. Last month I did a demo of how easy it is to build a mobile app in Meteor, and nobody commented on it. And then yesterday I get a comment on the GitHub with issue saying, "Where's the mobile app? Why isn't it in the Play Store?" And I was like, God, you can't please some people. The point was to show how easy it is. So these guys have done the due diligence. They've put it in the App Store. They've put it in the Google Play Store. So you can download it. You can check in. You can show off. And that's all built with Meteor. The server's Meteor. The UI is Meteor. The apps are Meteor as well. So yeah, check in and let the world know that you're here. Yeah, that's us. That's not Alan Shaw. Yeah, cool. We're already on it. Anyway. So there are apps that show us just how many of us there are. I think there's like 133 cities celebrating this thing. Loads of meetups have kind of popped up into existence just for this day. There's a lot of us. It's a true fact. How did we get here? That's not an interesting question. More existentially, in the past, in a public house. That's how most good things happen. It was back in a rainy February 2013. That's right. We've been doing this for a long time now. But this guy, he remembers. Michael Carliner, one of the original Meteor bad boys. I was hoping you'd turn up. We've got John Gold. We've got some other guy. This dude. These people never came back. You know, there was a lot of losages. You know, it was too exciting. Some people's minds exploded and they never came back. Some guy was like, I prefer Python. And we're like, that's fine too. But so what we did is we sat around and showed off stuff that we'd built like the night before. Alan built blackboard.meteor.com. It's still running now. It may contain cuss words. I don't know. Like it's a shared drawing surface. And what was irritating was the night before, I'd built this thing called GoTo, and I was super jazzed about it because it was a map and it showed everyone's position who was looking at the website in real time. Pins would drift around the map as you ran around the park with your mobile phone. And I was like, this is the best demo of the night. And of course, everybody wanted to play with Blackboard. Whatever, but this was back in 2013. And then we met up some more times. That was like 10 people in a pub. Then we kind of slowly expanded and we wore silly masks. People like Chris Waring actually got Meteor into production. All Bar Brown do fancy men's underwear. He built like a promo site for them that was their big competition website. So, you know, we grew in numbers steadily to today. What have we got now? That's right, awesomeness, yeah. The quality of the talks has improved drastically. Like we had no experts to begin with. We just had like this guy, that guy at the back. He's wearing a suit. He's a professional, you know that. And we realized early on, like, this is, bleeding edge technology, framework land. There are no experts in this. So we kind of settled on this show and tell format where we basically like say, the floor is open to you. If you have built something incredible in Meteor, come and show it off. If you've stubbed your toe on some of Meteor's rough edges, come and like let us know so that we can dodge the same fate. And people like Ben Foxall came down all the way from Oxford, and he showed us how to do how to design your web apps with like multiple simultaneous device access at one time. It was the definition of inspiring was one of the quotes that came out of that. So our talk's getting better, and our framework's getting better. That's right, everybody. I know why you're all here. That happened. So when you're a mug like me and you're happy to stand up and talk about tech frameworks, a lot of people then go, but can I use it for my particular use case in production? And I'm like, well, it says like 0.6 on the Semver, so your mileage may vary, but I suggest you try it and see if it works for your use case. Anyway, that argument now goes away because Meteor have said it is ready for production use. That's what this number means. It's a fact. Never question it. And obviously what it means is if your app does fail in production, it is definitely your fault. What you're getting here is the kind of jaded voice of a man who's had to explain that, it's actually your responsibility to make sure your app works in production. Oh, anyway, what it means is we've got a shiny new Meteor website. This was a bit of an embarrassment up till now, but now it's shiny and new, so we can show it off. It's official. Like 2 years of breaking changes, shuffling APIs around. We've now got a framework that we can basically count on. So that's interesting. Some of us might not actually know what Meteor does or is. It's a bloody full stack framework. Oh, yes, it is. What's a full stack framework? Okay, so you've got like your Angulars, your Embers, they're pretty popular. If you just want to push pixels around an HTML front end, that's pretty good. What if you want more? What if you crave more? What if you want a back end? What if you want a database? This is the full stack part. It's going to make the front end and the back end accessible to you, the JavaScript developer. It's JavaScript everywhere. It's not just JavaScript front ends. No. It's insane. It's JavaScript on the server side. I told these guys that we were doing a Meteor meetup here. This is Mind Candy. And they basically were like, JavaScript on the server side? You're insane. It's a Scala shop. And they're entitled to their opinions, but it's a Scala shop. Awkward. Most importantly, caveats, I have used Scala, I quite like it. But Meteor, there's loads of hyperbole about what Meteor is, and it's all wrong. I've used it for 2 years. Meteor is a gigantic transparent state synchronization machine. That's what it is. Are we good? Can we go home? Good. It is the first framework that I've ever used. There may be other frameworks that do this, but I've not come across them. I think there's a thing called Derby. It looks fun. It's got a horse. This is a difficult problem to solve in web development. Bundling up resources, like concatenating and minifying CSS, is not a hard problem. It's been solved. Correctly architecting where you put your code in your front end, it's a solved problem. Like, there's a thing called MVC, just use something like it. You can put extra V's in it if you want. This is like, every web app you ever build will probably run into the problem of like, who needs to know what when, and how do I deal with lots of people manipulating giant blob of shared mutable state that we call a database? Well, Meteor doesn't directly solve the problem of how do I deal with that, but it does make the boring parts of it transparent. So you've got a database in the front end, a database on the server side. That's the trick. And the Meteor framework is this amazing pile of glue that has some guarantees about when it's going to synchronize stuff between client and server side. So what you end up with is the ability to, as a front-end developer, define a thing called a collection, put a thing in that collection, and Meteor then squirrels it away to the server, so it's stored in the master database, and it promises to push it out to all connected other clients who are interested in that particular slice of the database. And to me, like, all the other waffle that goes on about Meteor is somewhat irrelevant. Like, that's interesting. Everything else is either built on top of that, the reactivity, the nice templating. Like, there's lots of ways to make the DOM update when a data source changes. That's a problem you can solve in a million ways. But because it's a full stack framework, because we've got this isomorphic JavaScript, because we've got this transparent state synchronization, we end up with an interesting framework, I think. Or we could cut all of that waffle down and just say it's the server side made simple. Like, if you're not traditionally a back-end developer. What's been really interesting running these events is more and more, I've got people who are like, I'm not a developer, and look at what I've made. Like, look at this incredible app that does all these things. I'm like, well, you, sir, are probably a developer, but who am I to put you in a box? What it means is we can all build apps, and that's good. Every framework has a kind of a performance envelope and things that it's good at and things that it's bad at. So Meteor is going to give you a WebSocket for every connected user, which is a really interesting performance idea. But on the flip side, it makes really rich reactive web apps possible for a one-man team to deliver in like a sliver of the time that it formerly did. Real-time apps. So WebSocket means we're not waiting for the user to click a button to reload the page. We're putting data on the wire, so we're building data-driven apps without like having to really like think about the architecture of the thing. It's like line delimited JSON on the wire. So after the initial page load and you've done some client-side templating, you've got a very responsive app. So we're all doing responsive apps now. So like it's brutally modern. It's like client-side templating, single-page app is the default standard for building apps if you're going to use Meteor. This is the kind of set of choices they've made, and it leaves you with a really fast user experience, because things like operating against a local client-side database means they can do things like latency compensation. So the user sits at his browser, clicks a bunch of buttons, inserts things into collections, modifies data. We assume that they haven't jimmied the locks off their JavaScript and are performing valid app operations. So we show them the result of those operations immediately, or synchronously. In the background, Meteor is then going to go and tell the server this, user X has performed action Y, change your database accordingly. And assuming the happy path, then the change is applied to the server-side database and fanned out to all other users. If they have been naughty and have decided to start meddling with the database themselves, well, that's fine too, because the server's going to run the validation code as well. So then we end up with latency compensation. They see the changes immediately, and it's fine. And nowadays, it's just got better. It's been like Christmas these last few months. With the Cordova integration, it now means that we can build mobile apps from the same code base. And having built a couple of like WebView wrapped website apps, that's usually quite a fiddly process that requires a fair bit of experience of, at least dealing with XML configuration files and not being scared by humongous SDKs. With Meteor, it's now a case of just like Meteor add platform iOS, and it's going to go and download all the junk you need to build your iOS app, assuming you've already paid into an Apple laptop. Or you can build an Android one. And finally, like some production apps are starting to emerge. This was the big like bugbear of any meetup organizer's life. Where are the production apps? And we're starting to see them now. We're seeing lots and lots of kind of experiments, and we're seeing lots of like hack day triumphs. But now we're seeing things like Lookback, where he's integrated with an iOS SDK, and he basically like films the nuances of the facial gestures of users interacting with mobile apps, and marries it up with a timeline of kind of interactions. So user did this swipe, user clicked that link in the app. And the whole web app stack is based on Meteor. And they just got a wedge load of funding. So people are really using it. Most importantly, you guys, I sound like a cheeseball, but this meetup is about us doing talks. It's not about me standing here and like padding for time while the projector's down. There is a lot of us, it's fair to say. But there could be more. This is like #1 pet peeve. Yeah, Meteor meetup group. I think we have a pretty good time here, but at some point we were almost level pegging with New York. And so obviously, as meetup organizer, I lie awake thinking about this number and this number, and how once upon a time this number used to be bigger than this number. So, whatever. A bit of friendly rivalry between the meetup groups. We might talk to some of them this evening. That would be fun. And I could stop saying words. Where am I? Okay, back to the slides. The take home from this is, it's a community. Like, if you're building something with Meteor and you want to show it off, come, just let us know. Like, we're accessible pretty much. I was saying this the other day, I've got like about 3 6s uptime. You know, if the sun is out, you can probably get hold of me. So come do talks. It's more fun if you talk and I talk less. So that is the end of my soliloquy of Meteor. And I think that was my point. All of you, I see faces that I've seen here many times and still have not done talks. Please, it's more fun if you do talks. And, you know, everyone has greater than one talk in them. Tell a friend, come on down. Enough demos. Now, as a bit of an introduction, Alan is going to help me live code a chunk of like, so I'm assuming that some people still need a little bit of convincing of like, Meteor is fun, I should try it. So we're going to have a quick bit of like Alan coding. So yeah, go nuts. Here's the laptop.
If you haven't already installed Meteor, then do it. There's a curl script that you just need to run and it will be fine.
No caveats applied.
Okay. Oh god. Oh yeah, do that.
Keep talking.
So once Meteor's installed, you'll be able to do things like create new applications. And what I'm going to do quickly is just create a new application and then copy and paste some code into it and show you how it works. Should be really easy, right? So Meteor, to create apps in Meteor, first of all, what you do is make a, no, you wouldn't actually. Oh yes, sorry, CD, got to put it in the code directory. Okay, so what you want to do is create like a Meteor create. Meteor create is the command you run to create a new application, and you give it an argument, and you want to call it something like leaderboard, which will go away and download the things that Meteor needs to be able to run. It creates a example application for you, which you can run by just changing into the leaderboard directory and typing Meteor. And Meteor basically does some whirling and then starts up your application, which will already be created for you. And then you should be able to, oh, where's the mouse? You should be able to visit localhost 3000 in your browser and see the default Meteor app. How do I, there we go. Cool. Which is plain and boring. You can click the button. It does things. That's nice. But how does it really work? 'Cause that's fine. In here we've got a little bit of CSS, a little bit of HTML, a little bit of JavaScript. There's not a lot in there at the moment. If we just open that up in an editor. Oh, hello. What? Okay.
It's a cron, so it takes ages.
So your CSS file, they've helpfully told you where the CSS was meant to go, and they've put some HTML in there. I'm not going to explain all of this at the moment because we don't have a lot of time, but essentially we are outputting a bit of HTML, and we're using handlebars, if you used that before, to output some data to the screen. Our JavaScript file here is pretty simple. Essentially, we're giving our template called hello, which is this template here, some data. We're saying, okay, the counter, if we use a counter variable anywhere in our curly braces, then I want you to output the value of running this function and the return value that it gets. And then we're just attaching a little click this button event to say when a button clicks, then change some data, and then Meteor will automatically re-render the HTML. We don't have to do any grab hold of this element, change its inner HTML or anything anymore. It's all data in Meteor. You deal with data, and Meteor takes care of re-rendering your template. So the tutorial, because this is the default, we don't want to do this. We want to do something like the tutorial, and the tutorial is to create just a simple to-do list or a to-do app. So we can just grab some HTML. Oh, wait. I don't want that. Where is it?
I think it's a few steps in.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so we can copy some HTML in. Simple stuff. So again, we've got a pretty simple piece of template here as well. We've got a collection of tasks, and we iterate over it in handlebars, and we're outputting the text for each task. So we're going to have like a sort of I've put it as leaderboard, haven't I? It's to-dos. Anyway, so I'm just going to continue copying over that and then show you what all of that does. Here we go. Oh, no, want all of that. So just like we had the other one where we had a counter, now we're saying there's an array of tasks, and each task has a bit of text. Oh yeah, CSS, here we go, select all. Oh. Not all of the things. Put some CSS in that's just provided for us. And then we should be able to start up the app again by typing Meteor in the directory.
You need to save the JavaScript.
Oh, I'm sorry, thanks.
Audience participation is encouraged and occasionally required.
But it kind of demonstrates, I guess, yeah. So we've got this done, and things aren't working at the moment. So when I save, hopefully, if I'm lucky, Meteor will have. Yeah, I know I just hovered over that, but I didn't actually press the refresh button. And that's another awesome bit of Meteor, is that you can do your development, and then when you hit save, it will automatically refresh your browser for you. So that's pretty cool.
How do I manipulate the state?
How do you do that?
I want to insert another task into my tasks.
Oh, of course, right, sorry.
It's great that I've got 3 tasks, but something just came in.
So at the moment, we've literally just got an array of tasks that we copied in. You can see that. So actually what we're going to do is add a collection, a Mongo collection, and then add tasks to that and display those instead, because having just an array on the front end is not fun, because anyone can do that. So we go back. We go a bit further on collections. Here we go.
When I install Meteor, it also installs MongoDB.
Yep. Yeah, it has a pre-vetted version of Node.js and Mongo bundled quietly in your home directory. So it doesn't install it system-wide.
Okay.
So now, so what I've done here is just add this this tasks collection, create a new one. I've named it tasks, and that's where we're going to put things. And in Meteor, you can just put things into collections on the front end, and like Ollie was saying, they'll magically appear on the back end, and also to any other connected clients. So I've created my tasks collection. I just need to update my helper for my template to actually retrieve data from that collection instead of just the hard-coded array. So. Oh, where? Oh, here we go. Yeah, sorry. So, oh God, whoops. So I've just updated this to, instead of return just a hard-coded array, it's a function, and it returns all of the tasks. It finds all of the tasks in the task collections, and giving it an empty object as the Mongo selector means just get everything, which is kind of what we want. So if we save that and then head back to Google Chrome, our task list should look empty. All right. But what we can do is we can just bring up a browser console, make it big because that's cool. And then we notice that it's already auto-completing tasks. Tasks is a Mongo collection that we can insert things into. Task.insert, and what does it need? It needs a name. I'll give it a new date. Oh, so. And then, hey presto, I've screwed something up.
Text.
Oh, of course, right. Yeah. Good job, guys. Good job. The variable in the template is called text, and and so it's expecting objects with a property called text, and I put an object with a property called name. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a different task and give it the expected property, and so I'll then end up with ta-da, a task, another one, and then I can add more tasks in like this.
But is that going to the server? Would it be pushed out to other browsers? How can I tell?
Well, yeah, I guess if we start up another browser, oh god, wow, another browser tab in Firefox, and
Not screen buffering.
yeah, that's a good plan actually.
Using spectacle.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh god. Yes. So. Cool. So if I navigate to the same URL, I see that actually the things that I've already put in this database over on this browser have just magically appeared in the database on this other browser. And this doesn't have to be on my same computer. This could be someone across the world looking at the same browser. And like if I add in another one, then I should be able to see in real time my browser update. Oh god. Pow! Woo! So it appears over here, but it's also on mine, and that is kind of the magic of Meteor.